Batman Arkham Shadow is the newest entry in the Arkham franchise that actually looks like a breath of fresh air after this most recent piece of shit from Rocksteady. This game looks great, as it is set in between Arkham Asylum and Origins, but there is just one major problem with this game. And it's the fact that it is a fucking VR game. Now, is there anything wrong with VR gaming necessarily? No, but the demographic that the Arkham franchise has is one that, well, let's just say not many people are VR players, especially as something as exclusive as the MetaQuest 3. Most Arkham players are in fact on console or PC, and to me that's just a major problem, and overall this whole game is just a wasted opportunity to have something new for the Arkham fans. But we're going to get into that later. But first, I'm going to need you to like and subscribe to this video, as I need y'all to know that I am willing to pump out more banger content if you want me to, but I can't possibly know if you don't like and subscribe to this video, alright? If you want more bangers, you gotta like this banger. Alright, back to the show. Now, to keep harping on the point about this, being a VR exclusive, the only reason I'm harping on this point, as much as I am going to be doing in this video, is mainly the fact that, it's been a decade since we've had, an Arkham title in the Arkham franchise, the last one being Arkham Knight. And no, I'm not going to count Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, even though it's set in the Arkhamverse. I'm talking about a proper Batman Arkham title. Now, I think they could have done this one of two ways, but here's the problem. This is being made by an incompetent studio. And I'm not talking about the creative team that's developing this game. I'm talking about like the people that are making the decisions to, pump out titles like this, exclusive to the VR. And the problem is that, it's been nearly a decade since we've gotten a proper Arkham title, and the closest thing we're getting to a proper one is through a VR game. Now, granted, the creative team behind this game seems very passionate, and they seem like they've taken a lot of care into developing the story and, trying to develop some really neat features for a limited, console such as the MetaQuest 3. But I think in one way, Warner Brother Games could have possibly remedied this if they had, planned this all out and said, okay, we're going to give you this, VR exclusive. However, we are going to also give you a, title that's, available to consoles and PC. And, to me, that would have been a much better way than how they're going about it right now. Instead of just, hey, this is the most recent Arkham title and you're not even going to be able to play it because we wanted to develop this with a team that, I guess they had to deal with. That's what I guess. They had to deal with the creative team behind the Iron Man VR game. And granted, I don't fault them for wanting to take that offer, and I mean, who wouldn't? But to me, this just screams tone deaf, because, what's the demographic for, Arkham fans? Oh, that's right, people that play on consoles and PC. That's going to be the majority of them. So it makes one curious as to why Warner Brothers Games would take this route as to, just making something solely for the MetaQuest 3 and instead of just planning out a proper console title for this particular game. And to some extent, I am asking a rhetorical question, because if, Warner Brothers in general is no matter what studio they're running or what division they're running, they're very incompetent people. It's a very incompetent group. You have to wonder who's making these decisions and the thought process as to why they make the decisions as they do. And don't even get me started on how they're handling their IPs, that a literal gold mine that they're sitting on, and they're just not properly utilizing them. I don't know if it's just out of complete incompetence or it's just arrogance, no telling. But you can't sit there and tell me that there isn't money to be made from another console entry for an Arkham title. I mean, you can't tell me that. A lot of people are, excited for in another Arkham game in general, but problem is it's exclusive to the MetaQuest 3, and to me that this is just a wasted opportunity for a proper console title. And I'm a huge fan of Batman Arkham Origins. I think it's probably one of the most underrated titles in the Arkham franchise. I know a lot of people don't like to acknowledge it for whatever reason, but I think it's a proper entry, and it added something very unique to the franchise. And I especially like, Roger Craig Smith as Batman, or voicing Batman in the Arkham universe, or a younger version of him. And I was really excited to hear that he was returning for this particular game, and that it was going to be a continuation of Arkham Origins, and that this game was going to be set in between, the events of Origins and Asylum. And we get to see, characters like Harley Quinn and Scarecrow in their early stages in terms of their villainy or their villainous career. And to me, I always thought it was interesting to see how those two came to be, and like why they, took the paths they did in the Arkham universe, especially Scarecrow's. And I think this is the first time we've seen Scarecrow with his mask off as, Jonathan Crane. And it looks like they're also introducing, some newer characters and adding some interesting lore to pre-existing entities or characters, such as the Tiger Guards. I didn't realize for the longest time that the Tiger Guards had already existed prior to Arkham City, or the events of Arkham City, and that it was its own entity before, Hugo Strange took over. And to me, that right there, it was an opportunity for, another studio, like, I don't know, like, let's say Warner Brothers Montreal, to take on another Arkham title and kind of expand on this lore and give us some interesting background on how some things came to be in the Arkham universe. Or even highlighting some, more unknown aspects of the universe, the Arkham universe, and, delving into some characters that weren't really delved on in prior titles, such as the Ratcatcher or the Rat King. I am very curious as to how they're going to go about this particular character in this game. How does he fit in the overall universe, and like what kind of effect does he have with events going forward? But overall, I think with the game like, Batman Arkham Shadow, part of me wants it to do well, because if it does well, hopefully there won't be, hopefully there's going to be a smart person at Warner Brothers that looks at the data and, says, hey, more and more people are interested in another Arkham title. Let's give them one, and not do like a VR exclusive. But then the other part of me says, okay, it's, let's say, Arkham Shadow does well. Is that really going to prompt, Warner Brothers Games or anyone over at Warner Brothers to do anything with this, IP? Because again, it's run by incompetent people, so they can look at the most successful things and just not do anything with it. I mean, take a look at, the Snyderverse from, the DC movies. And a lot of people can argue up and down whether those movies destroyed the DC universe, or like the DC cinematic universe. And I don't think they did, at least with Zack Snyder stuff. I think things that went forward, like without his involvement, took a major step down in terms of quality. But when, the Snyder Cut came out, there seemed to be a lot of interest in, sequels to that movie going forward. But guess what? Warner Brothers did nothing with that. And I understand that's on the movie side of things, and I'm talking about, the video game side of things in this particular video. But I think the same mindset or approach is related to some extent. But regardless of that, my overall thoughts on the game presentation alone from Arkham Shadow, it actually looks really good, considering the fact, like, the hardware that this is running on, and the fact that, it looks really immersive, and it does look like a lot of fun. Like, they are, taking a more of a focus, or focusing on the gameplay aspect of things, and focusing on the fun aspect of it, and not just like, solely relying on story and pretty looking graphics, because I understand it's a little hard to do all of those things at once in terms of VR gameplay. But it looks like this, developer team that's helped develop this particular game, it looks like they've taken a lot of care and especially respect to the source material, and it looks like they're really trying to do something unique with this, and, utilizing what they can to make a very immersive experience. And I think that much can be commended, and to that degree, I hope this game does well. I hope people enjoy playing it. I probably won't play it myself because, number one, I don't have a MetaQuest 3 or any sort of VR technology or console, because I'm not really into VR. I get a little motion sickness when I, start playing stuff like that. But for those that do play, I hope they do, have a great experience with it. And I hope, Warner Brother Games can, learn some very valuable lessons, or, learn the right things from the general feedback that this game's going to get, and just the overall response, or positive or even negative response from this upcoming game. But overall, I think the game does look very interesting. I like, where the story is going, and that it's just adding something, unique to the overall Arkham franchise. And I like, again, hearing Roger Craig Smith's Batman again. I've been wanting to hear from this iteration of Batman for a long time. I wish we had gotten it, much earlier, when we all thought that, Warner Brother Montreal was developing another title to Arkham Origins, but then it turned out to be Gotham Knights, and we all know how that turned out. But I'm hoping one day we'll get a proper Arkham title, and hopefully the feedback that this upcoming game gets, it'll be a reflection of that, and, maybe we'll see better days, maybe we'll see better games from, Warner Brothers games in general, and just, like I said, a proper Arkham title, because we don't want another Suicide Squad, especially from Rocksteady, because we know that studio's corrupt, and a lot of the people that were over there many years ago are no longer there, and the quality has just gone down, especially story-wise. Like, ugh, gross. But this particular game and the creative team behind it, they seem like they care a lot about it, and for them, I hope this game goes well, and that maybe their services will be, maybe they can lend their services to future Arkham titles, and maybe this particular story that this game is telling will carry on over into another Arkham title that will be released on console and PC. But overall, you guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my thoughts on this game are. Do you agree that this is a wasted opportunity by Warner Brothers Games to give us a proper Arkham title? Or am I just completely wrong, and that this, MetaQuest 3 exclusive Arkham title will be a banger, and I just need to shut the fuck up? No, I'm just kidding, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this game, and whether or not we're going to get a proper Arkham title in the not-so-distant future. And also, as a bonus question, which Arkham title was your favorite, and why? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.
You're everything that's wrong with Gotham! I'm done holding back!